times have you lied today so far? A bunch, right? But what if in the future you don't lie as much? What if we're embarking on an age of radical honesty? I think that's a really interesting idea, and I've been doing some research on it lately, and I wanted to share it with you. Now, I was first introduced to the concept of radical honesty in a teen science fiction series called The Ugly series. It's by Scott Westerfeld. And in the final book of this series, one of the characters actually gets brain surgery to give him radical honesty. Basically, he has no ability to lie, which ultimately makes him really popular, and a bunch of his friends do it too. But when there are certain plot twists in the book, his radical honesty compromises the safety of a bunch of people as well. So, being totally honest all the time is not necessarily ideal. Still, the idea of having radical honesty, or just the inability to lie, seems really refreshing and cool and exciting. Of course, after looking into the concept a little bit more, I discovered that radical honesty is by no means a purely science fiction concept. In fact, radical honesty is a real self-improvement program created by one Dr. Brad Blanton, who believes that lies are the source of a lot of our stress, and that if we embrace radical honesty, we can have deeper, more genuine relationships and happier lives. Now, Dr. Brad Blanton encourages people to be super honest about their feelings. Like, if you think someone's ugly, you tell them that. Yeah. It seems a little bit abrupt to me. I don't know if I could do it, but it's a very interesting concept. A.J. Jacobs of Esquire magazine did a really great piece detailing his experience trying radical honesty for a couple of months. So if you want to get the idea of what Dr. Brad Blanton's take on this movement is, I recommend reading that, or going to the website and reading through the FAQ. But here's the thing, I don't think that you need to adhere to a self-improvement movement or get crazy science fiction surgery to be radically honest. I honestly think that society at large is moving towards an era of greater honesty on its own. Just think about general social behavior and how it's changed over the past 50 years. Social protocol is a lot more loose, at least in most circles and cultures. General etiquette is also a lot more lax. And I've actually done a little bit of search trend research, and I found that search queries on etiquette have definitely gone down over the years, whereas searches on keywords like radical honesty, being honest, things like that have gone up recently. So I think that there's definitely more interest in being frank and upfront. But there's also a way in which technology is kind of forcing us to be radically honest, whether we want to be or not. Just think about it. We post tons and tons of things every day to Twitter and Facebook and all these other different sites and social networks. We also use apps and devices that share a lot of personal information in ways that we've never shared before. Just think about all the different diet sites and apps out there that share really intimate information, such as what you've eaten, how much you've exercised, and how much you weigh, with your friends, with people who are following you. They will know instantly if you are actually sticking to your diet, or if you just put on a couple of pounds. You can't lie about those things if you share them. Also keep in mind things like frictionless sharing on Facebook, all of the apps that will tell your friends what you've been reading, watching, and listening to without even asking you first. It's just passive now. And then there are also things that share your location with people, so you can't exactly lie about that either. Just think, aside from all of the different check-in services, about apps like the Find Friends feature using iPhones and Google Latitude. Now, I honestly think that at this point, social media forced honesty is getting a little bit ahead of societal honesty, because there have been some problems with all of the different social media sharing that's been happening. Just consider all of the media stories lately that have been discussing how Facebook has been playing pivotal roles in separations and divorces amongst married couples. In 2011, a collection of attorneys in North Carolina shared that Facebook factored into the majority of divorce cases that they worked with. And a recent survey by the UK-based Divorce Online found that 33% of divorces based on behavioral aspects factored in Facebook, and that typically involved either a flirtatious post in between one spouse and another person of the opposite gender, or snarky comments between two separated spouses, or another friend of a spouse basically ratting on another spouse's irresponsible or untrue behavior. So in many ways, we're not quite ready for the amount of honesty that social media is forcing us to live with. But I think that we're going to be adapting to that pretty quickly and just accepting the fact that it's actually harder to lie these days, so we might as well be more honest. So I think that whether we like it or not, we really are entering into an age of radical honesty. So why resist it? Why not start telling the truth right now? You may find it to be easier down the line, and hey, maybe Dr. Brad Blanton is right, and we will have lower stress lives, and we'll develop deeper relationships. So I'm gonna go for it, why not, right? What about you? Are you interested in being more honest? Do you think that social media is forcing you to be more honest? I would love to read your honest opinions in the comments, so just let me know what you think about this general trend. Of course, you can always be dishonest, but it might stress you out.